You're listening to the Act As If podcast with Coach Roel. Real life success stories in business and investing as they happen. And now, here's your host, Coach Roel.
Hey there, Coach Roel here once again with a very special guest, Alim. And this is actually part one of our two-part episode, catching up with Alim. Alim, how are you doing? Where are you zooming in from right now?
Well, I'm in Mississauga, Ontario, in Canada.
Okay, great. It's been a little while since we've caught up. I'm excited to hear what's been happening with you since last time. So I hear that you're celebrating a few things. So feel free to gush or show off about how awesome things are going right now for you.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think there's a lot to share. I think last time when we spoke, I had mentioned that I was working towards being the best version of myself, and I'm certainly doing that now. I'm regularly now getting up early in the morning to start up my day by meditating, which I find that really helps to get my day started. I've been in a really good routine coming out of that to actually start exercising. And then moving into working on my what I call my grand plan, which is my vision and my planning, whether it's short-term planning, long-term planning. I find that when I do it the first thing in the morning, I get I'm of clear mind and I'm able to generate a lot of ideas. And lastly, definitely able to part of my day is to get into prayer, which is being able to offer gratitude and humility towards what I have achieved, which is a lot since we last spoke actually. So it's been great. And the other part I wanted to share with you was I've actually successfully transferred to becoming a full-time entrepreneur.
Congrats.
Yeah. I think we when we spoke last time, I was saying that I wanted to get away from the whole 9 to 5 that I was part of. So I've successfully now transitioned off that. I've been able to do a real estate full time and cover all my expenses through all cash flowing properties. And I'm really excited to actually share with you, some of the properties I have invested in. I have an Airbnb that I have. I've also invested in a student rental out in Calgary, and as well as a multifamily. And so, those three alone are actually cash flowing for me to be able to, successfully transition. So really in good place right now.
Awesome. And are those all in Calgary, or is the Airbnb somewhere else?
No, Airbnb is actually in Florida. I wanted to, definitely target Florida because, I heard, through your help, I was able to do a lot of research and found a great property, which is close to, it's in Kissimmee, and it's close to Disney. So, I know there's going to be people coming from all around the world. And will last me for a long time. So, so that's where the Airbnb is. So, and the other part is I'm able to use that as a vacation home for the family as well. So it's great.
That's awesome. So in Kissimmee, give me an idea, like how many bedrooms, how many baths is this? What's the unit look like?
So it's 3-bedroom, 2 baths. It has a swimming pool. And what I've been able to do is, set it up for families. So, there's a playroom with a billiards table, a ping pong table, darts, and things like that. As well as in the pool area, we have a nice, barbecue area for the family to, be able to barbecue when they're there. And like I said, the great thing is that it's very close proximity to the Disney resorts. So it's good for the family to be able to come pretty much any time of the year to be able to partake in that. And as I mentioned, we have actually taken advantage of it as a family vacation home as well. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. And then so you're currently in Mississauga, as you said, right?
That's right.
And then so the Calgary properties, how did that come about?
Well, my intention was to move to Calgary. I think I'd mentioned that to you. So, since we spoke, I have gone ahead and already purchased a personal property there for the family. But as I was looking for my personal properties, I was also obviously looking at some investment opportunities. The student rental as well as the multifamilies, they're still quite affordable compared to Ontario. So I was able to pick up the multifamily for about $890,000, and there's 4 separate units, and it was very self-sustaining property that is cash flowing really well.
Okay, great. That's cool. And then so what's kind of like your routine now? In terms of, say, throughout the year? I know it's only been about a year or so, but how is life really different from before?
I think having transitioned to becoming a full-time real estate entrepreneur, I think I'm able to organize my day and fully tap into my full potential. And it starts off by as I mentioned, having a really good routine. The fact that I'm able to, get up and start my days with meditating, and then, moving on to, exercising, and then, moving on to actually working on whether it's working on my mind by reading books, or, planning out my grand plan and vision in terms of how I expand my business. That routine, it just helps me to be very productive and fully energized compared to before, where your typical 9 to 5. You get up, you go through your commute, and you show up for work, and so it can be very a drudging life after a while if you're repeating that cycle over and over again. So I'm definitely moved on from that, and being 100% energized and being fully productive in things that I'm passionate about, is really helpful, and puts me in a really good place.
That's awesome. That's great. How did you know you were ready to make that transition from, I think your words were, from the drudging of a regular 9 to 5 to becoming to where you are now, being a full-time real estate entrepreneur? How did you know you were ready to actually be like, and then tell me that story, how that happened?
For sure. I think, I got to the point where, when you're no longer passionate about, what you're doing. I think the idea is that you do want to transition to something that will make you happy at the end of the day. And I've always been one to try to strike a balance between, a spiritual and material. Whenever there's no balance for me like that, I always try to do whatever it takes to get to that balance. And with a time came that I knew I wasn't balanced from an individual perspective, where I just wasn't happy, right? And so I think that kind of drove me to taking the concrete steps to transition. But at the same time, I was being very realistic. It wasn't that, okay, I'm going to just quit my job next day and I'm done and I'll make the transition. I knew it would take time. Obviously, I have responsibilities. I wanted to carefully plan that out over the year. And I'm glad I did that, and I was able to successfully get there. So being realistic was also something that was part of the the overall plan in getting there.
Mm-hmm. So other than what you've already mentioned, like from another angle, what would you say is like the best part of where you are right now?
I would say having the freedom to spend my 24 hours that I have. I think that's key. To me, I think the last time when we spoke, I shared with you that I'm really big on being able to serve, right? And as part of serving, I think I focused on 3 areas. One was serving the family, and it takes different forms: serving your community and serving humanity at large. And being able to structure my days where by me spending time in how I plan out my days, I'm able to do all those 3 things. And the fact is, I don't want to get too morbid, but to get to my end of life and reflect back to say, what, I could have done this. But I know if at a micro level, if I really split up my day every day, whereby I'm able to serve the family, serve the community, and serve humanity at large, I would have achieved my goals. Whether it's through real estate, through making sure that I'm reaching the best version of myself. All those things, combined together, will help me achieve that goal.
Mm-hmm. And how's it been for your family? What kind of feedback you're getting, or what have you seen that makes you proudest in terms of the changes that you've led as one of the two leaders of your family? What have you seen that you're most happiest about?
I think me being in a what I call a happy or at peace allows me to really interface with all the family members. Whether it happens to be my wife or happens to be my two sons, my twin daughters. Being able to interface with them with the state of mind that I'm in. I'm able to better serve them by, providing them appropriate guidance, being able to engage them, even on a physical level, being able to, going for bike rides, or, going golfing with my sons, or exercising, or going swimming together. I think just being able to interface, at a level where I'm fully engaged and at peace, as I said. I think they see that as well in me. So, mm-hmm. and I find that when you do that, you do get, you do reflect yourself in them as well. Mm-hmm. So by osmosis, they pick up on that energy as well. So,
very cool. I want to also touch upon your health goals, because I know last time we spoke, you'd mentioned that you were meditating as well. I don't know if it's like I meditate, but I'm not super consistent. So it's oftentimes, unfortunately, it's a bit of a struggle to stay consistent. And then with your exercise goals as well, I'm curious to kind of delve a layer deeper. Did you have did you measure, for example, did you have measurable goals? Do you track some kind of, in terms of the difference of what you're doing before? Like, for example, for me, earlier this year, I just decided something clicked where I was over 204 pounds. I'm only 5'8". And I thought, you know what? I've been wanting to do this and lower my weight for a while. And I had already been cycling and stuff. But then it wasn't really until I started saying to myself that, I am a healthy 180 pounds, which I realized afterwards achieving that is like, oh, that in terms of my BMI, that's still too high. So I'm now aiming for the next one, which is like 170, 160, which would put me right in the middle. Did you have like measurable sort of milestones in that sense at all? Or how did you know that you're improving in those areas, in health and emotionally?
For sure. I think, to go back to your first point about meditation, I think, time and time again, I know, meditation has been part of my, part of me since as far as I can remember, actually, and so whenever I have consistently meditated, I know it puts me in a state of mind of tapping into the level of creativity that mm-hmm. typically I would not be able to when I don't meditate. So as far as evidence and measurement, from a meditation standpoint, I think when you do meditate, it just puts you in a mindful state that allows you to tap into that creativity. And when I talk about creativity, it could be it'll somehow transform into your life. It could be you resolving an issue that's related to work or real estate or whatever the case is. Somehow that creativity will allow you to think multidimensionally about how you go about resolving that problem, right? And I trace it right back to, the fact that you started, your day with meditation. It allows you to, have that level of creativity to resolve issues and things like that. So that's definitely one sense of measurement. The second measurement, actually, the one that comes to mind is I do remember once when I was just coming out of a meditative state, and I measured my heart rate. And I know heart rate measurements, when you're exercising, when you're meditating, typically, you don't go to that right away. But I was curious to see what my heart rate was at. I would say, I usually use my phone to measure that. And I would say I probably registered the most lowest level of heart rate I've ever had, ever registered. And so that was another evidence that, physically, it definitely affects your body and puts it in a really relaxed state. So, that again, to prove that, from a measurement standpoint, I know it works, right? It's just a matter of, making sure that you consistently are doing that. So that's definitely two examples of, measuring from a meditation standpoint. From an exercise standpoint, what you mentioned about having, weight goals. Definitely, I can relate to that. I'm in a similar boat as yourself, where I'm 5'10" and probably around 185 or so. So again, when you look at the BMI, I definitely need to come down at least 10 to 15 pounds for sure to start with. So that was my starting point as well. And as you said, I do have a certain level of activities that I do that allows me to reduce my weight to an acceptable level. So that's something I've been doing. And besides that, I think exercise is one thing, but also changing my eating habits. Exercise alone, I know, will not get me to my ideal body type or healthy weight, if you want to call it that. Where you physically feel alive. So just watching what I eat, and so one thing I have tried is eating less meat and things like that. Tried vegan diet and things like that. Tried keto diets and things like that. I also have done fasting and things like that. So just to see what effects it will have on my body. So. Yeah, so all those things I think contribute towards achieving my goals from an exercise and having a healthy body as well. So,
and so you have seen some successes and gains since last time.
Definitely. I think when doing intermittent fasting was one of the ones that I really did see some huge benefits, and I find that we in North America tend to overeat, and have the regimented 3 meals per day. And sometimes, when I was foregoing a meal in the day, I didn't feel it. In fact, I think my body was probably thankful that it didn't have to yet again process food. We get so programmed that 3 times a day, we just feed our bodies, and not realizing that, our bodies have to do work to digest that food. So, but, so from that perspective, I found that to be very helpful. And I think, in general, I think, again, I might be making a generalized comment, but even our portion size sometimes, tend to be much larger. So, I've always been one who doesn't eat large quantities of food. I will always eat, less food, and make sure that, I take my time eating as well. You'll never see me, wolf down a meal. Again, it's all part and parcel, all contributing towards, having a healthy lifestyle, both from a nutrition standpoint as well as looking after my body.
Excellent. Now, if we could say go back in time, and someone who is watching this video or listening to this as a podcast, who can resonate from your starting point, having been at a regular job, so to say, aspiring to become a full-time real estate entrepreneur and aspiring to have properties outside of their local market. If you could speak to that person, or even your former self, knowing what you know now, in a few sentences, what kind of words of advice or encouragement would you give to that person?
Definitely, I would start off by saying, take that first step. I think people just are hesitant to take that, first step, or first in taking that first action. The minute you take that first step and take that first intentional action item, I think you really set out on your journey. I think if you don't do that, I think right off the bat you're not stepping one step closer to where you want to get to. So taking that first step is key, I would say. The second piece is, I think most of us live in some sort of fear of doing things. If somehow if you were to remove that, and that's what I did, was remove that fear to take action. I think it goes a long way for you to actually achieve those goals. So definitely those are two things that I would say is take that first step and step away from that fear of the unknown. I think we are creatures of spending lots of time on what if scenarios versus just doing it and actually diving right in and taking one step closer to what your goals are. So
excellent, very, very wise. Well, thank you very much.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, the other thing I would say is connecting with people who have taken that journey in the past. I think that's also key, right? Knowing that there are others out there that have gone through what you're trying to go through, and getting that support from those type of individuals helps as well. Being part of a team or a community that has already gone through reassures you that you're not alone and that it is achievable. It's not that you're out there and just dreaming about this. You can actually meet real people who have actually experienced it, lived it, and taken that journey, and that can be very supportive and helpful in you taking that journey as well. So.
Wow, wonderful. Excellent advice from a man who's done it himself. Alim, it's been a pleasure. This has been the first part of our interview with Alim. Make sure to log in next time when we unpack and we kind of just speak freely about this whole experience. Alim, thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
All right, then. Take care.
Take care.
You've been listening to the Act As If podcast with Coach Roel. Real life success stories in business and investing as they happen.